Welcome back, everybody. It's been a few weeks, Kylie, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Hi, everybody.
Hey, and if you think Kylie sounds a little strange, she is not here standing next to me this time. She is at home getting ready for a fun trip, and we're going to talk about that in a minute because this theme today is about summertime. We've talked a little bit about summertime in one of our last episodes, but I was looking at the calendar today, Kylie. We have been away from the microphone for almost 4 weeks now, it seems like.
Wow, it does not seem like it's been that long.
It doesn't, and I guess we should kind of do our normal intro. I'm Brad.
And I'm Kylie.
Welcome to Interventions and Detentions. And I don't know, Kylie, I think I've lost track of what episode. Is it like 22?
It's got to be close to 20. I think it is 22.
I think it's 22. And like I said, we're going to talk summertime today because we've been on summer break almost a month now. We got out on May 22nd, right before Memorial Day. I've still been in the office. Kylie just left me hanging. She's out doing her thing. So what are you getting? Let's talk about what you're getting ready to do. And then we'll kind of talk about summertime memories as kids when school was out and maybe what we did as teachers. And we've got some listener feedback that we're going to share of what people are doing these days during summertime. But what are you getting ready to do that's so exciting?
I am getting ready to go on a basically 2-week adventure, I would call it. It's called the Great Race. It's called a road rally race, and we drive old vintage cars. I think 1973 and older, I think, is like the cutoff. And we drive about 2,300 miles across country, and we do it every year, and we do a different route. And this year we start in St. Paul, Minnesota, and we'll end in Irmo, South Carolina, 9 days later.
Wow. And that just it sounds amazing to me, like just being out on, like, I'm assuming you take like back roads, not interstates, kind of that.
Oh, yeah. We are on some roads that you would never have driven it before in your life. Not dirt roads or gravel roads or anything like that, but just the coolest back roads. You see so much. You get to go to some really cool places, and I get to spend 9 days in the truck with my dad, which is probably the best part of the whole thing.
I was going to say, how cool is that? And how long have you guys been doing this now? How many years?
This is going to be our 8th race, and my dad and I together, it'll be our 6th race.
Wow.
He did it with my mom the first 2 years, and then I took over after that, and we've been together ever since.
And so, like, what is your task? Because you're not just riding in the car along. What do you do during this race?
So, it's hard to explain it because it is a race, but it's not like a speed race. It's
right.
You have to be at a certain place at a certain time, and so you have to follow certain directions. So my dad is the driver, and I'm considered the navigator. So every morning I get a stack of papers, usually 23 to 27 pages, and it's all the instructions for the day. Now, these are like pictures and stop signs and speed changes and things. I don't have any idea where we're actually going.
Oh, wow.
So we know where we start in the morning, and we know where we're going to go to lunch, and then we know where we're going to end in the afternoon, and we have no idea how we're going to get there between that. So we have to follow the instructions just like they are, do the speed changes, make up time if you get stopped by something, do all these things, and hope that you make it to the different checkpoints right on the right time.
Wow. Talk about the great adventure. I mean, that is exactly what it sounds like.
Huh. It really is. Mm-hmm.
That's so one last question then about the race. What constitutes winning the race? Since it's not a speed race, what do you have to do to win?
So the team with the lowest score over the 9 days wins. And what I mean by that is there's usually 4 to sometimes 8 checkpoints during the day where they know what time you should be at that checkpoint, and you have to try to get there at that exact time. So you want to get there right on the right time. Then you get a 0 second for that leg, and you get it's called an ace, and you get a sticker on your car and everything. It's so cool. But you want to get there within seconds of the right time.
Okay.
And again, you have no idea where you're going. You're just following the instructions. But so I think the winner last year over 9 days, we're in the truck for about 8-ish hours a day for 9 days. The winner overall was only off just over a minute last year.
Oh, wow.
Total.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is very crazy.
I would never win. I would never win because I can't get anywhere on time.
No, I usually can't either, but on this we can.
Yeah.
So, we haven't won yet, but we've been in the top 10 4 out of the last 5 races.
Well, that's pretty good showing, I would say. I was going to ask if you'd won. I didn't think you had because I know you would be talking about that, but I mean, still top 10 out of how many racers?
There is usually about 140 that start.
That's awesome then.
So we finished 5th, 9th, 7th, and last year we finished 13th. So that's been our last couple years.
Wow.
So, yeah, not too bad. So we have a great time, and it's just so fun.
Well,
you can look it up on the internet, thegreatrace.com.
Greatrace.com.
You can see where we're going. We're not coming anywhere super close to Indiana this year. We'll be in Kentucky, and we will be in Illinois. So if anybody's on the route, stop by. We have a big showing every night at all the stops that we go to. So it's really fun.
That sounds like a blast. Maybe someday I can hitch along in the tailbed of the truck or, something like that.
Sorry, you'd add too much weight.
Too much. Darn it.
So,
all right.
Sorry.
I'll be there in spirit. How's that?
There we go. I like that.
Oh, we wish you the best and your dad the best. And what a way to kind of kick off Father's Day weekend with heading into the great race. So
absolutely.
Let's jump in our time machine, Kylie, and let's travel back in time to when we were in elementary school, which was not at the same time frame. I understand that.
No.
For me, you're talking the 80s. For you, are we talking 90s or early 2000s?
Early 2000s.
Okay.
No, 90s.
I was gonna say you're probably 90s, 90s kid. When you're talking like elementary-ish. So, let's just talk about your fond memories of the school bell rang on that last day, and for you, Kylie, homeschool wannabe boarding school girl. What was it like? I mean, I'm assuming you had to pack up and come home, or you were from that area though, right? So it wasn't like you were away.
Yes, right. So first of all, I did not go to boarding school in elementary school.
Okay.
I went to public school. So
I remember
I'm a public school kid too. But yeah, so for me in summer, it was all about baseball and softball, and my parents, I grew up and they still live on a lake. So all the lake activities, anything you could think of on the water, and just enjoying the outside. Anything I could do outside, that's what I was probably doing.
Any one particular memory that stands out from all that? Because you and I have some similar background. I grew up on a lake too, so I'm going to talk about some of those things here in a minute. But anything that stands out, like anything strange that happened, anything weird, anything exciting, anything dangerous?
You probably have tons of stories like that.
I do, actually.
But, I'm trying to think of any... and we'll get into this in a little bit about what we did like earlier on in our career in the summer, but I went to summer camp. So there's a summer camp in the town that my parents live in, where my boarding school is. There's a summer camp that goes along with it, and I attended the summer camp one summer in elementary school. It is a 6-week-long camp, and I lasted about a week and a half. And
why does this not surprise me?
I knew it wouldn't.
Was there tears involved? Was there crying involved? Was it teary?
Of course. Oh, yeah.
Oh, poor Kylie.
Tons of tears. And you got to remember, my parents live like 10 minutes away.
Right.
And I still, not so much.
Oh. So it just wasn't just wasn't your jam, or what?
No. Not my jam.
I kind of wish sometimes I did the summer camp thing. I think it would have been cool. I'm not sure. I probably would have cried a little bit first, but that's just something we didn't do in our family. And
yeah,
I can remember in 5th grade we took a 2-day, 2-night trip, 3 days, 2 nights to Camp Potawatomi over in South Milford. Spent the night. Actually, no, back it up. It was at Pokagon State Park in 5th grade. When I taught 5th grade, we went to South Milford and did sort of the same thing. But I liked that 2-day experience, and I thought, man, for a week, this would be kind of cool. You're canoeing, you're camping, you're, bonfires, roasted marshmallows, playing games. It sounded like a good time, but I mean, Kylie didn't share that same love, I don't think, it sounds like.
No, not at all.
But, for me, growing up on the lake was the coolest thing. And I can still remember the sound, like being on our pier on the lake and our boat, like it wasn't on a boat lift, so it was just like it would rock in the waves. And you could that sound, that sound of the boat kind of lapping in the waves. I can still hear that, and I can smell the lake water still. And just,
absolutely.
Just being out there with your friends. I think I talked about, like, I worked at a restaurant during high school that was on the lake, and it was super frustrating looking out the back door on a Saturday afternoon on a sunny day when people are whooping and hollering and skiing and tubing, and I'm stuck back there grilling burgers and making milkshakes. But, the first thing I would do is run home, throw on my swimming suit, jump in the lake, get cooled off. Cruise around on the lake. We had a wave runner, so I would do that. We had just get out on the water and kind of unwind. That was, to me, the biggest thing early on, like younger years, Little League. I played baseball, and it seemed like it lasted all summer, but it really only lasted till about July, I think. That was kind of the end of the season.
I know, but it did feel like all summer long, didn't it?
Yep, and just, getting in, like, vans with our dads and caravanning to the different baseball fields when we'd play away from home, and listening to the music and laughing with your friends. That's the stuff that I really hold on to, I guess, that sticks with me. It's those memories.
My dad used to take me on his motorcycle too. I'd roll up to T-ball on a motorcycle. It was awesome.
My dad had a motorcycle too when I was really young, and I can remember he would put me in front of him, and we would like ride around the lake in the summertime and things like that. It was a good time. So I mentioned some dangerous things. We had our speedboat. Probably when I was like 10, 12, I was starting to be able to take it out by myself. And I had asked my dad one night, like, hey, can I take the boat out for a little bit? Our lake was a 10-mile-an-hour lake, but we had access to 2 speed lakes. So I wanted to go to the speed lake. He's like, yeah, just, be careful. And so I take off in our boat, go under the little bridge that goes over to the other lake, and just put the hammer down, and I'm cruising around the lake. And by the throttle on the right-hand side of the boat, I kind of noticed some smoke. And I looked back to where the outboard engine was and also the gas tank, and there was a little bit of a rolling fire back there, right around the gas tank. And, freaked me out, obviously. Immediately shut the boat down. And ironically, a week before, we had found this fire extinguisher in our shed. And Dad's like, we should probably put this in the boat. You never know when you might need it. I don't know why it was just standing in this shed, but we put it in the boat, and thank God I had that, because with it being near the gas tank, I don't know if it would have exploded. I don't, I think the boat would have burned up and sank probably, but I immediately got it out with a fire extinguisher, thank goodness. And what had happened was our battery to start the motor was back there by the metal gas tank, and somehow it had got turned around so that the terminals were next to the metal, and I think it sparked somehow. Caught the fiberglass on fire, and away we went. But so not only did I catch the boat on fire, when I finally flagged somebody down to pull me back home, he tied me off, and I was kind of at an angle, not straight behind his boat, unfortunately. And as we were coming back to this bridge to go underneath to go to my lake, there's a tree that hangs over to one side. And he pulled me right through this tree, branches going through the windshield of the boat. So now not only was the boat burnt, I busted the windshield out of it, like pieces are hanging off the side, and I could just still see my dad's face as I'm pulling up with this stranger and our boat's being tagged behind, and he was furious. Like, what in the heck happened? And
I don't know Wayne Taggart that well, but I can only imagine Wayne's reaction.
Yeah, I got ripped, and it was bad because he was having some friends over for a cookout. He was a IHSAA official for like football and basketball, and his football crew were coming over for a cookout because they're kicking off the fall season of football. And so no boat rides for the crew, and yeah, it was ugly. Yeah, it was ugly. We got it fixed and repaired, and it all worked out. But And then, real quick, I sank a boat with a friend when we were in college in the summertime out in the middle of a lake. His little fishing boat of his grandfather's. We were out running around trying to hit waves and splash. We hit one the wrong way. The boat just filled with water and down the
Oh
boat
my
went.
gosh.
And luckily, he grabbed onto a rope that was kind of just floating nearby, and it was still tied onto the boat. Got somebody to pull us in, pulled the boat in, had not lost anything but like a scrap of carpet that his grandpa used to put the gas tank on. We had all the cushions, the oars, and everything. Obviously, the motor had been submerged and wouldn't start, and we kind of fibbed when we got back. Like, we rode it back to his house, oared it back, and told Grandpa, like, yeah, engine got a little wet with all the splashing out there, Grandpa. It just quit running, and then, yeah.
Wow.
Whew. But thank God we didn't lose the boat. We didn't drown, and
Yeah, thank goodness to all those things. Could have been much, much worse.
could have been much, much worse. But summer nights, what a great time as a kid and high school kid, and then we go off to college and get trained to be teachers, and then summers look a little different, don't they?
Yeah, my summer didn't look that different, but it looked a little different. So the summer camp that I went to, I then went and worked at it for, I don't know, probably 8 years.
Get
And
out. Get out of
it
here.
was some of the best times I've ever had. We had a blast. We look forward to it every single year.
So, Kylie, we might be spirit siblings because I, too, ran a summer camp. A little bit different. It was a YMCA day camp. So kids, just came and go every day, basically, came and went. But, yeah, I did that I think my first 3 years of teaching in the summertime because, teachers don't make enough and we have to find our gravy
Work in the
trains.
summer,
That's right.
Yeah.
So I did that, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was still working with kids, so I enjoyed that. I had my CITs, counselors in training, that pretty much ran the groups and the programs. I just kind of sat back and let them do their thing and discipline kids or calm down arguments between the CITs and things. But it wasn't a bad gig. I enjoyed it, and it was a good thing to do during the summertime. It was a lot better than like working in a factory or
Absolutely.
not doing anything.
We had so much fun. Ours was a military summer camp for we worked with the 7 and 8 year olds, but it was a boarding camp for 6 weeks. So they stayed there. We slept in cabins with them. We were in charge of kids, and then we taught different. I taught canoeing and kayaking, sailing, water ski. Anything on the water,
Oh,
I
wow.
taught. I tried to stay on the water.
So they had their own boats and stuff that you could use to go water skiing and things like that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Were they nice boats?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to go to
Ski
summer camp
nautiques.
there. Ski nautiques? Wow. That's high dollar
Oh,
boat
yeah.
right there.
It sure is.
Wow. And you're a water skier too, we learned recently.
Yep.
And I'm
Prefer
gonna
to wakeboard, but
Really?
can water ski.
So you and I are gonna go up to my brother's house this summer and we're gonna double wakeboard together.
I can't wait.
That'll be fun. Do you have your own
Should-
wakeboard?
I do. Should we record a podcast while we're wakeboarding?
If there's a way to do it, by golly, we're gonna do it.
We're gonna try it for sure.
It might be a good post
At least
activity
an
episode.
intro video. Yeah.
Oh, yes, we can definitely do a video. But yeah, we're gonna do that. I've been kind of itching to get back out on the water in the summers. While our girls have been growing up, I got out of that habit, unfortunately. And my brother's got a new boat that you can surf and do all the things behind it. But we're gonna get up there and we're gonna do that this summer. That'll be fun after the race. Okay.
After the race, sounds good.
So let's talk a little bit now. I mean, we talked about education summers, and for me being a teacher, it looked different than it does as a principal because now my contract's longer, 205 days. So I'm coming in way before school starts, not way before, like a couple weeks, I guess. And I'm staying a few weeks after. Like I said, we're almost 4 weeks out. My contract time is basically up, but I don't really hang my hat on that. I mean, like teachers do, we work way more than our contract says we do. So
I was going to say, you're going to get done what you have to get done.
exactly. And for me now, I mean, obviously we're going through some changes with our referendum not passing, and the lovely Senate Bill 1 has really created some problems that we're working through here at Central Noble, and they're not easy, and they're not fun, and they're hard. But things that I work on in the summertime, once everybody goes away and it's just me in the office, is obviously things like schedule for next year. And I've never figured out, why do we have to change our schedule every year? And ours really doesn't, but I feel like there's always something, like, hey,
always some tweak you gotta make.
Could we change this time just a little bit, or could we go to specials at this time versus this time? So I've been working on that. It's actually on my whiteboard. I've got it all planned out and mapped out.
It looks really good. I've seen it. It looks great.
Yeah, I'm a visual guy, and I've never done it that way before. It took me probably longer to draw the lines than it did to fill them in. But
always.
You're working on that. PDs are things like, I was actually supposed to be leaving for one today. PSYOP training. I was looking forward to that, but the lovely Share Bear did something to her foot a couple weeks ago, so she's in a boot in her right foot, and that means she can't drive. So BT has been the chauffeur to and from work, and we didn't have any way to get her to and from work this week if I was not home. So push that off. I'm going to go in August now instead, but that's kind of the principal thing. Like it's usually like some PDs and trainings, principal meetings with your superintendent, planning for next year. For Kylie, it's going on the Great Race. What else do you do here recently in the summer times outside of the fun stuff?
Try to go home and spend as much time as I can at the lake, to my parents' house. That's number one. And just kind of catch up on sleep and those kind of things from the end of school. We do the Indy 500, so that's right at the end of school.
Yep.
So I'm kind of getting through that.
Do you do any reading?
Any what?
Any reading?
No. Well, I should, but I haven't really.
I'm right there with you. I'm not much of a reader either. But and the reason I ask, I'm going to kind of jump into, we asked on our social media for some input from listeners, like, what do you do in the summertime as educators? And some of these people are counselors. They might be teachers. They might be IAs. And one of the common themes, one that you mentioned, sleeping in, I think that's a big thing because people need to get recharged. I don't. One thing I forgot to mention, I do driver's training. So like I've been getting up at 7:30 in the morning and doing a couple hours of driving training and then coming into school. But so I'm not sleeping in, but they love to sleep in. They love to read. And I'm going to guess it's not school reading.
Yeah, I doubt it. It's probably just funny, light, easy reads that you can read while you're laying out in the sun, which I wish I would do. I just don't. Sometimes I listen to audiobooks.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting out, on the water or something. But
I've actually tried, being podcasters that we are, I've tried to start listening to some podcasts maybe. I don't give myself enough time to sit back and do that stuff, and
exactly. I just always am go, 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 and I should just let myself recharge and read. But I do like listening to podcasts sometimes.
Yeah.
Because they're shorter, easier to keep my attention.
Yeah. Now, there's one that I listened to recently, legit, 3-hour long podcast episodes. I don't know how you go that long. Like, I think you and I could do an hour. I don't know if we could go 3. People be shutting us down. Like, we're not going to listen to you guys.
I was going to say, we might shut ourselves down after 1.5.
Well, let's share some thoughts real quick from listeners, because we said if we share your thoughts of what you share out about your summertime activities, you get some Interventions and Detentions swag, which means free t-shirts, baby. So I'm going to start with Mandy Bailey. I actually know Mandy. She went to Lakeland where I did. Her dad was an assistant principal there for years and principal. They actually, when they moved from, I think they moved from Garrett to the Lakeland area, they rented our rental cottage on our lake right next door to me. So she was real little at the time, but she is now a school counselor, I believe, in Triton. She wrote in that she does reading, not educational books, and she says for enjoyment. She likes to slow down. Lazy mornings, enjoying hot, fresh coffee out of a coffee mug instead of an insulated tumbler, which I can relate to that.
Yes.
Also spending time at the lake, slow lunches with friends. She does enjoy some PD over the summer, usually at her own pace. And by her own doing, not because it's mandatory. I think that's really cool. Like, she's choosing to do some of those things.
I like that. Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Second write-in, LME Hartman, who actually works in our building running the YMCA preschool program here, one of the YMCA programs in our area. She wrote in that, again, reading and sleeping, sleeping in, even if it's just a little after the normal alarm goes off. Lots of outside time by their pond and working on landscaping. I like to mow. I don't know that I like to landscape, but
I was going to say, I'm not a landscaper, but with these new mowers, so Brad loves to mow.
yes.
He loves his new mower. And shout out to the Ego brand, because I then also got the mower that matches Brad's, and it is fantastic.
Isn't it awesome? I mean, I legit get excited to mow.
I love mowing. Yes, me too, because it just cuts through the grass like nobody's business.
Yeah.
It is wonderful. I love it.
It's awesome. And I don't know if you saw, I reached out to Ego because, like, if you ask them for some swag, they'll send you some. So I got a T-shirt and a koozie last week just by asking them on their Facebook page, hey, can you send me some swag? I bought a mower, and they'll hook you up. So
okay, good to know. Shout out to Ego.
Shout out to Ego. We should get them to sponsor an episode sometime. But,
okay.
One last listener.
Let us know if you want to be on the pod.
That's right. One last listener comment on our Facebook page. TJ Maines, who was an instructional assistant for me up at Lakeland Intermediate School, great lady, works in the ED program. She says she loves sleeping in. Go hiking where there are waterfalls. That's awesome. I don't think we have any around here. You have to travel a little bit, but she says we look up many hiking places with waterfalls and check them out. The kids got to ride a waterfall down the rocks in a body of water. That sounds like fun. That would be cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we went. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we went to Nashville the last couple summers for softball tournaments, and we ventured out one of those years to some like waterfalls and things, and it was a little scary because you had to hike back through the woods, obviously, and it was kind of treacherous, but there was also people saying, hey, be careful, there's rattlesnakes on this cliff or this ledge, and we didn't see any, but that was enough to not hang around very long.
Yeah, no, thank you. I forgot to add one thing that I do in the summer is we try to go to a national park, at least one.
Yes, you talked about that. Yeah. Where's this summer's national park going to be?
This summer we're going to Alaska at the end or in the middle of July, and we're going to hit up Denali National Park and Kenai Fjords National Park.
Wow. Are you going to be home as much as you're going to be on the road, or vice versa?
No, I'm always gone more than I'm home.
But that's why we love you. You bring a lot of experiences. It's really cool that you get to do that. So Kylie, you know what time it is?
I do. It is
rapid fire.
Rapid fire time.
Rapid fire question time.
Song yet.
I know. We're just gonna get excited about it. So we're gonna throw some out. Do you want to go first? You want to throw one out?
I'll go first.
All right.
Sure. What's the first thing you do on the first day of summer break, Brad?
Go back to work. That's what I do.
Well, yeah. That's true.
I mean, like I said, we talked a little bit about it. I don't really sleep in. I always have like a list of, all right, I'm going to get this done, and nothing gets done.
Sure.
I do nothing.
Yep.
That's probably what I do the most of, is do nothing, just to try to kind of recoup, rejuvenate, and recharge.
Yep.
What's the first thing you do?
Sleep in.
How long do you sleep in?
No questions asked.
How late?
Oh, 9, maybe 10, depending.
Okay. I like it.
So, yeah, not terrible, but yeah.
Just
I
enough.
just don't want to be rushed getting up.
Yeah.
How about that?
I think that's the nice thing of just knowing that there's not going to be an alarm, and I can get up or I can lay here as long as I want.
Or I can sit here. Yep. Exactly.
All right, here's one for you. Beach, mountains, or backyards?
I do love the beach, but I'm going to go mountains just because I love going to national parks, and most of the ones that we go to have some type of mountain in them. So I'm in for mountains.
I would say mountains too, even though I haven't been to a lot of them. I've been to probably more beaches than mountains, but maybe that's why I'm picking mountains, because I'd like to go see more. I think mountains just, just being out in the outdoors, and there's always something new and different to see. A beach is a beach, so.
Exactly. They all pretty much look the same.
All right. Excuse me. Hit me up.
I think I already know this answer. Sleep in or stick to a schedule for you?
Stick to a schedule.
Yeah, you're a schedule guy.
Yeah, because
I'm a sleep-in girl.
My schedule doesn't change a whole lot in the summer. It looks kind of the same as far as time-wise. Like I'm not in here as much, but getting up, getting around, those kind of things. And right now with being the chauffeur for Sherry, it's like, I'll get up at normal time. So, yeah. And you said you're a sleep-in girl. What's your must-have summer beverage?
I like an Arnold Palmer. So like iced tea with a little lemonade in it.
Gotcha. Oh gosh.
You? You kind of go through phases with drinks.
I do. I mean, if we're talking adult beverages, I could go one way. If we're talking
Yeah.
just like, I don't know, Gatorade, orange Gatorade is kind of like my go-to lately, I guess. Because
Okay,
like if
orange
if
Gatorade.
you're out mowing yard,
I've literally never seen you drink a Gatorade before in my life.
some
I've seen you drink a lot of different things, but I've never seen you drink a Gatorade.
yeah, well, okay, so right now, I don't think I've told you this. I am on a Bloom energy kick.
You had just started it at the end of the school year.
Yep. So I'll back
So,
up. That's my go-to right now.
so that's pretty good. You've stuck with that for about a month.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm actually really impressed with that.
I think I'm the only one in the family drinking it. Like Sherry's not a big fan of it. She doesn't like the flavors. Mare's okay with it. I don't. Maddie hasn't really had a chance to try it yet because she's been in Ireland and gets back tonight for study abroad. But I really like it. I like how it makes me feel. It's not. It's a lot of good energy, I guess, and there's a lot of good things in it, like apple cider vinegar and prebiotics. So it's probably
Okay.
one of the better energy drinks that you can put in your body. But I do like that. That's been my go-to lately.
Okay, shout out to Bloom. Would love to have you sponsor an episode.
There you go, and I'll save you one when you get back. So
Perfect.
hit me with another one.
Favorite guilty pleasure TV show or movie in the summer?
Ooh. Let me think. I don't.
You're terrible at this.
I am. I'll tell you my.
We've talked about this before.
Okay, so I'm gonna get real transparent here. My favorite, probably guilty pleasure of watching something over and over and over again isn't Cobra Kai, even though that's one of them. I'll go way back. Beverly Hills 90210.
Wow,
Yep.
that doesn't surprise me from you.
I love that.
Actually.
I used to love watching that. Like it was my senior year of high school, early college years, and then when Sherry and I got married, it was still going on. So her and I would watch it weekly, and I could watch, Brenda and Dylan and all those guys. Makes me just want to move to California. So that's mine. How about you?
You know, can you guess mine? It's the same as it always is.
It is
Do you remember?
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy.
Yep.
100%. I'm almost through all 21 seasons. So
Wow.
starting from the beginning.
I've been thinking about jumping back to some of those shows from the 80s, like Hill Street Blues, and some of those.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't mind kind of jumping back into those. Dallas, my parents used to watch that, just to see if they're any good or as good as they were back then. I don't know, something different maybe. But how about this one? Flip flops, Crocs, or barefoot?
Flip flop.
You are
What
a
about
flip
you?
flop girl. I'm gonna say
Are you a
barefoot.
Croc girl? Croc guy?
So I have Croc slides. How's that? And I do like them.
Oh my.
They're super comfortable, but I like barefoot. When I was a kid, I would in the summertime I would not put shoes on. I mean, I would walk down the paved road on rocks. It didn't bother me. My feet were super
Wow.
probably calloused up. I could run on the rocks, and I loved being barefoot. I would not put shoes on. I didn't wear flip flops, any of those things. So
Okay.
I don't think I could do that now, but I still like being barefoot. So let's do a couple more.
Sunburn or tan? Which one do you do?
Well, I've been better about using like sunscreen. So because being married to an oncology nurse, you just do these things. Even though I will say she's the worst at putting sunscreen on and just thinks she's going to tan. But as she's gotten older and medications change how the sun affects your skin, she burns pretty easy. I burn pretty easy. I like to have a nice tan, but yeah, I burn. How about you?
Tan. I may get red, but then by the morning, all turns to tan.
Yeah. Well, let's think about tanning and sunscreen. Best summer smell: sunscreen, fresh cut grass, or bonfire?
Sunscreen for me, and I'm gonna guess yours is fresh cut grass.
So I like the smell of grass, but I'm going to probably lean towards sunscreen too. I like the smell of bonfire. I don't like to smell like bonfire.
Exactly. I like it in the moment,
Yeah.
but then I don't want to continue to smell it.
Nope. That's why we have a propane gas table kind of
yeah.
thing. We don't do bonfires or burn
Does
wood
it
at
give
ours.
Does it give good heat out?
Yeah.
Do those work pretty well?
Yeah, they work great when we use it. We don't use it that often, but it's very ambient, on an evening to sit out there when the perfect little flame is flickering up through the rocks and the stones.
Yeah.
So, but I love being around a bonfire. I just don't like this. I don't want to smell like it. So
I know. All right. Neither of us have a pool, but if we did, which pool floaty would be your go-to? A unicorn, a pizza slice, or a classic tube? Or a raft? Like, we can say classic tube / like just a raft.
I'm going to go classic. Like, I love kind of just draping in a tube, or being on a, raft kind of floaty, the rectangle ones with the pillow at the end, Remember the ones that had like the cup holders all the way through it, like it was just
amazing.
Silver on the bottom, clear on top. Yeah, those were the best back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that. What about you?
Yeah, same for me. I like the classic or the raft or the noodles with the mesh seat in it. Love those. Those are perfect in the lake for us.
I like taking a couple noodles and just using those, like put them between your legs, make a little U, like a little saddle kind of thing. Okay, speaking of lake, because this is kind of a lake person thing, you ever taken the life jacket and wear it like a diaper and float it?
Yeah. Who hasn't done that?
I didn't know about that till I was like, I don't know, probably in my 40s. I went out with some friends and they're like, just do this, and we put them on. I'm like, this is super smart. You can't see it, and people just think you're bobbing in the water like a...
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, Kylie, guess what?
What?
We're pushing like 36 minutes. I think we need to wrap. Look at us go. On the phone, over the internet and the phone waves. We've gone this long. It's been fun talking about summer, and we're right in the middle of it. To me, July 4th is a couple weeks out. As soon as that hit, it's going to change everybody's summer routine because it seems like it's downhill from there. So have fun on your race. Be safe. Any last summer tips you want to shout out to our listeners?
No, just enjoy it and just enjoy every minute of it. I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah,
I just tell educators to use this time to get recharged, rejuvenated, relax, and gear up for another great school year. Like I said, I know we're going to have some changes. We're going to work through them. We're going to be okay. And, I'm hoping we're going to be back bigger and stronger because of that. So with that, let's wrap it up. We're going to probably bring back another episode. I don't even know a topic yet. We might talk about educators and change. We might just throw a curveball at you and come up with something really different. But until then, let's end it like we always do, Kylie.
All right. Class dismissed.
See ya.